There we go. Think before you sleep. I love Think Before You Sleep. He's great.
Here's why I'm not married yet. I simply didn't feel as ever the right time or opportunity to get married in my early to mid 20s. It's kind of nice to see that people aren't rushing into marriage like they used to.
20.
Is that an AI voice? Or is that her real voice? Because it doesn't sound exactly like AI, but has that really light, robotic vibe to it. Oh, she's 29 years old. Jesus Christ.
29, if you're wondering. I thought we would just start off with that, considering that her advice is to wait until you're 30 to consider marriage.
As a career-oriented woman, I don't want to settle for someone who's insecure about what I do or wants to control me.
Now, this clip does require a little bit of nuance. For those of you who don't know, this is a famous African-American female streamer named Pokimane, and if that wasn't enough of a cue as to why a partner of hers might be controlling, then look no further than her Instagram page, where she is constantly posting parasocial girlfriend bait to get followers. So I can imagine why a significant other of hers would have a problem with that. But welcome to modern Twitch, where the worst people you
Technically, there are men out there that would be totally okay with her still doing that. They're far and few between, and I hope that's none of you, chat. If any of you are actually okay with your woman doing that kind of shit, please, please, please get some self-respect. But there technically are men that'll be okay with it. Just might not be men that she'd be interested in, because any man that is okay with that is going to be like the betas, right? They're going to be weak, very feminine, not exactly the alpha male that she desires.
know are finally getting old. Cutie Cinderella is clocking in at 31. Then we have Valkyrie at 34.
I feel mentally stunted. Like, I don't feel 34.
You can see the wrinkles in her fucking cheeks when she widens her mouth. The makeup is not helping her. Actually, might be making it worse. Oh, man. The wall is not treating this bitch nicely either.
I'm a middle-aged woman.
Hassan better wife her up. And finally, as I said, we have Iman, who is about to turn 30.
I've always been someone who wanted kids, wanted to start a family.
You better hurry. Guys get like an extra 10 years to act like they're still in high school despite being well into adulthood. But because of biological limitations, once women hit maybe 22, they gotta get moving before their time runs out.
On top of that, there's such a pressure on women. I feel like we're constantly told and conditioned to think that our greatest value is bringing life into this world, which I find painful.
But it literally is. Only one gender can have kids, and that's females. And you can only have one baby at a time every 9-month period. And technically, you should probably wait a few months after you give birth to heal and process. It is a nasty process, but you're biologically meant to do this, so you're not supposed to have too many complications as long as you're relatively healthy, right? One man can impregnate 6 women. One woman can only be impregnated by one man. It's a slow process, okay? And on top of that, because God hates us, because we're the ones that, fed Adam the apple, we have a very short time period to be able to do this, from about 16 to about 30, 35. Once you hit 30, you get into geriatric pregnancy, technically. But you can kind of stretch things to 35. Yeah, there are women out there that have babies when they're 40, but those are far and few between. And once you hit the 35, you're and older, you're increasingly, and like, you are rapidly increasing the risk for any issues when having that baby, or the baby itself having problems. Literally, the one purpose women have in life is to have babies and be attractive and be holes. That's literally it. It's actually a pretty simple life. Literally, if you are a pretty woman on the internet, like in this case Pokimane, which she puts on a lot of makeup for, the lack of makeup is shown on the thumbnail, but she's still mid with that, right? As long as you're just a pretty woman on the internet, you can do like anything. You get tons of money, tons of support. Men are clamoring after you. And there's literally the whole graph of the whole hot to crazy scale, right? Where the hotter the woman is, the crazier she is. And so many men are more than willing to take the dive for a crazy woman just because she's pretty. Because that's what men all care about. They only care about attractiveness. Obviously, there's other qualities that men care about too, like how good of a cook you are, if you're actually willing to have kids, the more reasonable men in that case. But attractiveness is the main focus, and then everything else kind of comes second, because that's how biologically they're wired. They'll take a mid just because, mid is still average. Being called mid is not an insult. Only women make it to be an insult, which is why men can actually use it as an insult. It's actually hilarious, the irony of that kind of stuff. It's not that hard. You live life on easy mode as a woman. Pokimane has clearly shown based off how much money she's been making throughout the years by just being a relatively attractive woman on the internet.
Painfully reductionist.
Clearly, she took her general education courses in college seriously, so now we have more of an insight on why she's in this predicament.
Perfection and power are overrated. I think you are very wise to choose happiness and love.
Uncle Iroh advice videos are looking pretty base these days when it comes to the behavior of Twitch streamers. So as for people like Iman who are following the golden path in their careers, or people who are wasting like a decade doing nothing in their parents' basement, let me just say that these traditional milestones have been created for a reason, and the reason older people are pressuring you and saying that time is running out is because they know that you only have a finite amount of time to achieve certain things before you're locked out of them, and they know that life constantly gets harder and harder as you get older. But when people ignore traditional wisdom and they start running up against the time limit for achieving major life milestones, they'll start coping like this.
I bought an engagement ring for myself. Okay, but you guys told me to. The person that you are engaged to the most in your entire lifetime is your damn self. So why shouldn't I get this ring for my damn self?
That was
one, the most self-centered thing I think I've ever heard of. And two, is she pulling Anita Sarkeesian? Is she getting married to herself? For those who don't know, Anita Sarkeesian was this major feminist from back during Gamergate who had feminist frequency where she talked about how women are being objectified in video games and how sexist it is. And then somehow, I actually say somehow because she was a paid talking head. She was a psyop. But she was sent to United Nations to speak at the UN with fucking Zoe Quinn about how harmful the internet and video games are to women. And recently, a couple years ago, she married herself because no man can actually be interested in her. I mean, she did technically have a boyfriend during the feminist frequency days, but I'm assuming her bitchiness killed the relationship. Also, he was kind of an asshole too, but birds of a feather flock together after all, right? So ridiculous. Yes, I'm gonna marry myself. The person you engage with the most is yourself, because what's the most important thing is yourself. Oh, get literally over yourself, you arrogant fucking prick.
Pokimane showing off her African-American roots. I'm surprised Beyonce didn't start playing in the background. But also, what a callback to Emma Watson announcing that she was self-partnered when she was about to turn 30.
I never believed the whole I'm happy single spiel, but I'm very happy. I call it being self-partnered.
What an internet classic. I'm glad to see that Pokimane is paying tribute by doing her own iteration of it for modern audiences.
This is me proposing to myself. Look at the gorgeous diamonds. You know when jewelry is so...
Yeah, that is a pretty ring. I bet that's expensive as fuck, but she's also rich as fuck, so she can pay for it. I think she's engaged and just wanted to keep it a secret so the simp keeps subbing. Well, apparently she's losing subs because she's hitting the wall and that kind of deal, but I mean, she's still obviously making money. There's also... Didn't she come out with a video about how she has a boyfriend, too? If you're a female streamer, like flesh streamers like Pokimane or VTubers, right? And you come out with a boyfriend, it's just a good way to tank your views and your subs and everything else like that. Like, it's just a good way to kill your career. You're gonna have some people that are going to be still loyal, obviously, but you're gonna like half that. You can probably rebound and get back up as long as you're still producing good content. There's a reason why most female streamers don't disclose if they have a boyfriend or not, or whatever the case is. You should always assume every single female streamer, if they claim they're single, just believe they have a boyfriend, okay? Even if they actually are genuinely single, just believe they have a boyfriend. Chances are, they're probably lying to you. It's just the best way to go about these things. Because come on, think about it. Charismatic, funny woman that gets attention from different men. Even the whole girl failure trope where she doesn't leave the basement and just drinks all day and doesn't take a shower for weeks. Even has men that want to be with her. Now, granted, she has to go outside for them to be with her in general, but, like, still, like, you just always assume they have a boyfriend. Just do that. And yes, that also includes me. I'm no exception there.
Pretty? You want to eat it? Is that just meat? Like, it's so delectable.
Am I the only person who thinks this ring looks ugly? It looks like that snake that eats its own tail. I don't know if that's some sort of metaphor, or if it's the kind of jewelry that an evil stepmother from a Disney movie would wear. But I guess it's good that she likes it?
Will I be with me for the rest of my life? Well, yes, I've no choice. I'm gonna have the opportunity to gift my husband the sickest engagement ring for men that there ever was, and I cannot wait. You guys know how much I love gift giving, and just that idea makes me so happy.
I can think of nothing more emasculating than a woman proposing to a man. I'll never understand these women's impulse for turning their boyfriends into men that they will hate.
About a year or two ago, like a year and a half, something like that, I realized I had been attracting a lot of beta males. You know, I was like, I'm trying to cop a dude. All I got are like these bitches, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, what's my problem?
Maybe it's because you're looking for a guy who would let you propose to him. It's funny watching a person whose entire life history is filmed because you can see her preaching the modern values, followed by getting into various dramas because she's not actually attracted to the relationships that she claims are ideal.
I don't know if this is controversial, but I'm in New York right now, and I've noticed that the hottest men, the most attractive men, all happen to be gay.
More evidence that if you just follow the traditional rules, you wouldn't have these problems. However, I think these videos are a sign of a new phase of content creation for Iman, or a new creative outlet.
While I own my career,
Okay, the whole most attractive men are gay thing is a common trope with women. Let me explain this without making it sound like I'm attracted to gays too. Gay men usually take care of themselves. They groom, they work out, they have nice jawlines, that kind of stuff. Like, long as they're not like the twinks, right? Relatively attractive, long as they're not like the flamboyant. Then they speak and you hear that shrill voice that they put on. And it's a fake voice too. Like, it's just the way they signal to other gays that they're available to be fucked in the ass, literally. And as for any woman who's attracted to twinks, chances are she's on hormonal birth control, and that's just fucking up her brain chemistry and her hormones into thinking they're attractive because they're weak. I am assuming she's on hormonal birth control because every woman's on hormonal birth control because, well, we gotta put them in Jew daycare after all and kill their fertility. Opposites attract to a certain degree. Men who like bitches and bossy women are going to be more submissive themselves because you can't have a dominant aggressive man with a dominant aggressive woman. It's not compatible. And she is a bossy bitchy, girl boss woman. That's literally her whole thing. Well, I'm a career woman, I care about myself, blah 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 blah. So of course she's going to be attracting the more beta males, as she says, because they're the only ones that are going to be interested in her, because no actual dominant man is want to deal with her bullcrap. They're going to want something cute and submissive instead.
career to streaming, it was also the source of a lot of difficult moments and harassment that I don't experience on other platforms. And I can confirm it's been really healing to explore other creative outlets.
Now, a reasonable person might say that being a pretend parasocial girlfriend to tons of lonely men as you pirate old episodes of Avatar for your stream is not very creative, but this is Twitch we're talking about here. I mean, technically, Amaranth is the most well-put-together streamer when it comes to life milestones because she's married, so the standards aren't that high here. But it seems like Iman is graduating to a new era in her career. She started out with her League of Legends N-word phase. If she wanted to speak like that, she should have picked Heroes of New Earth. Then she had her phase where she went after people's sponsors.
And I will say, for this company to sponsor a video that's literally 20 minutes of talking shit about me, if I ever see you in my inbox, on site. On fucking site.
Oh yeah, I kind of remember this. This was from a few years ago. But this says 2020. Oh my god, I feel old. Oh, I am gonna hit the wall soon at this rate myself. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh. Moving on.
After that, she had her entitled rich girl phase. A lot of people were offended by this tweet, but personally, I'm glad that she was being her true self here.
Like, if you're a broke boy, just say so.
Personally, I enjoy it when Catty Pokimane stupidly calls her followers broke beta males. However, now I think that we're entering my favorite era of Pokimane, which is her Eat, Pray, Love phase.
This year, I fully cut someone out of my life who used to be a close friend, but was lying to me, lying about me, in general causing me so much emotional turmoil that I needed a lot of therapy. But after I cut them off, I did not message them once.
You go, Pokey. Good for you for not messaging him. You earned that candle. Also,
There was also a phase where she tried to be a VTuber. That was like 2 weeks that it lasted. After she was bitching about VTubers for a long time. I don't normally partake in VTuber drama and discourse and that kind of stuff. Still, it's funny that she tried the whole VTuber thing and just died immediately.
So for the guys who haven't been forced to watch Eat, Pray, Love, it is quite possibly the most woman movie that's ever been created. Eat, Pray, Love is about a 40-year-old New York career girlie with no children who goes off to Italy and gets fat and then becomes wise by learning from India after she divorces her husband who is deeply in love with her because he's short, I'm guessing, or because she got married too young, which is what she said in the movie. Of course, they have to make sure they poison young women into thinking that being like 28 is too young to make a commitment. I mean, undateable men have their Manic Pixie Dream Girl movies, and undateable women have Eat, Pray, Love and Morning Glory Milking Farm for when the life advice from such movies turns them into a spinster.
Unfortunately, I have been groomed by a man twice my age and forced to read smut, which means I have read a Morning Glory Milking Farm. Yeah. It's about 250 pages long-ish, a little bit less than that, and the word cock has been used every other page. The whole thing is just smut. Groomed, quote unquote. Go over to Arch's channel, the Archcast, and go look up that.
I'm ridding myself of a lot of my people-pleasing tendencies, and I'm so proud of myself for that. I am wishing you a happy new year, and I'm rooting for us.
Well, I'm glad that you're figuring out shit that you should have learned when you're like 21.
Do you always talk in bumper sticker?
Pokimane has definitely seen this movie. She constantly speaks in platitudes that should be on Hallmark cards. By the way, just as a little side note, the woman who wrote the book Eat, Pray, Love was fucking batshit insane. On screen is a video about that. Let me just say that it makes sense that the advice given in that movie is horrendous feel-good bullshit that will actually harm your life if you follow it.
The woman who wrote Eat, Pray, Love planned to kill her girlfriend and wrote a new book about it. Apparently she's a lesbian, and, well, the lesbian statistics show how wonderful, loving they are. A lesbian wouldn't murder her girlfriend. Why would she do that? They're the most wholesome chungus of all relationships. You know, the male gays are the second best. They just love sharing their partners with others. So much anal sex they have to wear diapers because they become incontinent. They're obviously the second best. And then, the worst. Absolutely abysmal ones. The heterosexuals. The heteros. The heteronormatives. Ugh, disgusting! With their wholesome families that they can create and have stable relationships for the rest of their life and help advance society. Oh man, those are the worst.
Now, as for the late bloomer part and learning teenager lessons when you're almost middle age, I guess that's fine. Better to learn late than never, but the part that I have an issue with is the part where she has to publicly congratulate herself, because it comes off as incredibly narcissistic. And what I mean by that is that this Eat, Pray, Love video is like when you go to a job interview and they say, tell us about one of your flaws, and you're like supposed to lie by taking a positive thing about you and frame it as a negative.
So tell me about a weakness of yours. The common tactic with this question is to write a strength but word it as a weakness. Like, oh, I'm such a perfectionist with my work that I'll give up all of my spare time to make sure my shit gets done at the cost of me own family. Fuck 'em.
So Iman saying that one of her flaws is that she's such a people pleaser is like her saying, I'm sorry, you see, I'm missing a bunch of important life milestones and behaving like I'm 16 because I am just too much of a people pleaser. I'm just too much of a good person. I give too much to everyone else at my own expense. Pokimane makes videos like this a lot.
I mean, what do you expect? She's a woman on the internet. So by default, red flag, right? Because women thrive off attention. That's the going back to the whole woman's whole use as attractiveness, right? And having kids. Well, their attractiveness is what gets them attention. The whole point in life is to just get more attention. They constantly need reassurance. They constantly need care and love and various different things. So she's a woman on the internet. Red flag. She shows her face. Another red flag. Because she's relying on her natural beauty and a shit ton of makeup to be able to get that. Granted, that fades, so there's obviously a risk there. But there's already a level of narcissism there by showing your face because you're that confident, you look that good that you can rely on just your looks to get the attention, which is what most women do. And to be fair, most of the time that's actually successful because men like pretty women. And then you've had her however long streaming career she's had, like what, 10 plus years now? Now she's about to hit the wall. She's losing things because of that. She's losing subs and attention, which she thrives off of after having 10 years of constant validation and money thrown at her by essentially simps. She's technically in providing entertainment in a way. Obviously, you could, Think Before You Sleep says the fake girlfriend experience, which is true, and that's where you can definitely use the argument of simps. But it technically is still entertainment, so I'll be a little bit nice in this case because I don't really like to use the word simps in general. So after the 10 years of this stuff, yeah, of course she's a bit narcissistic. She's been coasting on her looks for 10 years now. She's trying to continue that as much as possible.
However, for everyone else who's a late bloomer and not a narcissist, there's a bit of ancient wisdom that's been circling around the internet that people are calling retard maxing. People have figured out that all of the overthinking and introspection is not actually helping them become happy. And that's because most people let their own heads get in the way, which prevents them from achieving their goals. And so the internet has realized that it's actually better to act as if you're stupid, like Forrest Gump.
He's not bound by adult worries. Someone offers an opportunity, he takes it. No self-doubt, no overthinking, no paralysis, just do it. And every single time, it works out. Why? Not because he's lucky, because he's not standing in his own way.
Also note that a lot of the success that Forrest Gump experiences in that movie is due to him listening to the advice of people who are smarter than him.
What's your sole purpose in this army? To do whatever you tell me, drill sergeant? God damn it, Gump! You're a goddamn genius!
You can actually live a pretty good life if you just listen to the advice of old people who are competent or have the lifestyle that you want. Though, certainly, you don't want to end up attention-seeking and cringe like this when you get older.
There's actually a problem with that when it comes to listening to old people, specifically in the case of women. I know, woman most affected moment right here. Before 60 years ago with the baby boomer, you used to be able to have your grandmother and your mother teach you how to sew, how to knit, how to cook properly. You would get lingerie from baby showers and different things like that too. That way you can actually entertain and please your husband. You'll learn little tricks on how to raise kids. You get the hand-me-downs as well. Different things like that. It was passed down from generations. Old traditional knowledge. But thanks to women being put in Jew daycare, they have stopped having kids and they've stopped passing down this old sacred knowledge for it. And so now a lot of women actually don't even know what to do when they get pregnant. They don't know how to raise kids at all. They can read books, but a lot of the modern stuff is slop. You don't have the traditional knowledge anymore. This is once again a woman most effective thing, but technically it also applies to men. There's various skills like woodworking and how to fix plumbing or various little knickknacks around the house. A lot of modern men don't know how to do that either. Because they're living in apartments and they don't have to because that's the landlord's job to get that fixed and hire somebody out. And if you do have a house, well, you just hire somebody out once again because you don't have the time and you don't know how to do it. To be fair, a lot of men usually just try to Google and fix it and figure it out themselves because that's kind of how men are. But once again, it was supposed to be your father teaching you how to do this at a young age, not Google.
My first ever Birkin, and although I'd love to own one someday, I first wanted to buy one for a very special person in my life, my manager. I couldn't think of a more deserving person to have such a coveted bag, except maybe you, which is why I got a second one. I love gifting you guys because you've been just as kind and supportive of me as my friends and my team has been.
Right. Hopefully someday
What would a man do with a bag like that?
the poor multi-millionaire African-American streamer Pokimane will be able to afford her own $20,000 Hermes Birkin bag.
What the fuck? How? How does a purse cost $25,000? And yet pre-owned too. Pre-owned. So what does this cost normally? Like 30,000? How does a purse cost, let's say, $30,000? I get it's leather, probably high quality leather. So I get I don't know how the leather working works. This once again is another lost art like I was talking about there. But $30,000 for a purse? Why would you spend that much money for that piece of shit thing? Let's just say piece of shit. I fucking hope that if it's $30,000, it lasts you 2 generations at the bare minimum. You get it, your daughter gets it, and then your granddaughter gets it, and it still is in great shape. There are so many things you could do with $30,000. I get inflation's a fucking bitch these days, and it's only getting worse. Thank you, COVID, and shutting down the government and everything else in between. I don't even use purses myself. I have one pocket for my phone and one pocket for my wallet and my key fob. That's it. Don't need anything else. It's pretty fucking simple. Okay, sorry. We'll carry on. I'm still sitting here in disbelief. I can't. I just.
bag.
If you're a broke boy, just say so.
I swear nothing will turn you into a misogynist faster than learning Hermes's business plan and how effective it is on women. It's
Why is a belt $4,500?
basically a luxury gotcha game store where the loot boxes are $5,000.
Why is another purse $10,000?
And when you pull ultra rare items, you still have to pay for them. But also imagine not being able to gift your manager something without publicizing it. And Pokimane publicizes how
She bought 2 of them! She bought one for her manager as a gift and one for her chat. That's $60,000 on 2 bags. That is how much the average person makes in a year in America. Actually, I think it's only like 45 to 50,000. So that's on the higher end of the averages that she spent on 2 fucking purses that are gifts, by the way, to 2 random people. Okay.
generous she is, quite frequently. Honestly, these giveaways that she does look a lot like she's bribing people to watch her or be her friend. I don't get how she's like, maybe one day I can afford a Birkin for myself, when she also releases videos openly bragging about her gifting her friends purses that are into the thousands of dollars each. But probably the worst part of her showing her audience how great it is to let life milestones pass by for the sake of your career is that she does this whole girlfriend simulator bit to make money despite not having to because she's insanely rich. And the issue with that is that she can't really date anyone because she'll lose a ton of her following, which is why she has to make videos like this.
I have to introduce you to a recurring character in my life. This is Chris, also known as Sunkiss, also known as my neighbor.
Iman, nobody believes that this guy is in the video because he's your neighbor, unless he's gay or you have really terrible boundaries.
We met at one of those everybody in the building gets together kind of parties. And then there were board games for people in the building, so we got to know each other at board game nights. Chris cooks a lot, gyms a lot, and he sings. Chris, sing.
So he's your boyfriend. Like, he's in your kitchen, he's making food for you guys. You met, you went on a couple dates essentially. He has all these good qualities, going to the gym and apparently singing. Yeah, he's your boyfriend, I'm assuming. I get she's an IRL streamer, so it's kind of harder to hide your life when doing that. But does she have to actually show her boyfriend cooking like this? I guess she's got to like up her, like, change her content from time to time because once again, IRL streamer and things like that to keep the retention rate. But is not show him then? Like, I don't get it.
Right. That's not all there is to say.
Damn, I'm pretty boring.
Okay, me too.
Right, your neighbor...
Oh my god! I don't know if TBYS is gonna show this. Enhance. Look at how she looks at him. Now, she's probably a little bit ran through, right? But look at those eyes. Those are fuck me eyes. So if a girl looks at you like that, guy, like, she and with her little smile there, kind of hiding her face slightly with it, just being like, ooh, what's he? Those are eyes of, yeah, I want you to fuck me, please marry me. Even his smile looks like he's actually into her as well. Not like everything else wasn't damning evidence either, but just, ooh, that look. Chat, if a girl looks at you like this, she's into you, okay?
Right, your neighbor that you met at board game nights who is close in age and comes over to cook for you because we all know she can't. Your neighbor who goes to the gym with you to lift while you go off and do a bunch of exercises that are largely useless. She does shit like this a lot, so I imagine that she knows as much about working out as she does cooking. Anyway, nobody believed her story, and the simps became depressed because now it's finally over.
Dude, Pokey, like, I can sing better. I can cook better. I can do better. I can be better. I'm everything this guy can be. Just message me back, please.
That's right, Miskiff. It could have been you. Now, I'm not exactly sure why Iman has picked this method of revealing her boyfriend. She's rich enough to never have to work again, so if family was actually a priority, she would just take a break from the internet. So I don't know why she's doing all this. However, I do know that e-girls always have stalkers who are trying to expose every bit of their personal life. Maybe one of them found out and was trying to expose it, so she's like, okay, well, I'll just say he's a really good friend. That's why we shot this gym video together. But even though this looks suspicious as hell, she's still insistent on gaslighting people.
I posted a gym video with my neighbor.
I saw that. Was it actually your neighbor?
Yes.
Okay,
So,
that's
okay,
what I thought.
we met at, those building get-togethers where they're like, everybody
go
in
to
this
those?
building, come hang out, kind of parties. And then we got to know each other at board game nights for like people in the building essentially, or like friends on the same floor sort of thing. And then people on Twitter were like, imagine having to hide your partner because your community's gonna freak out. And then my whole community is like, oh my God, cute video. I'm like, it just feels like
Okay.
two entirely different worlds.
Again, I'm not sure why she would show this guy in a room alone with her if they were not dating and if he's not gay. I guess the tier 3 subs who think she will date them if they give her enough money are really socially unaware, but then again, Miskiff and Emiru dated for multiple years and people didn't know, even though it's obvious they were dating if you watch content with them together. But to further make my point that Iman is lying to everyone, it's not just the Instagram.
Come on. He is like an inch away. His hands are like an inch away from her pussy.
Boyfriend-girlfriend videos that she has this guy participate in. It's also this.
Oh, and he sings a lot of songs in China / in Chinese.
Yup.
Wait, I've never heard you sing in Chinese.
Really?
Yeah.
我们今生注定是沧桑.
Now that we've established that he can sing in Chinese, allow me to show you this clip of her on a stream.
Wait, so what did you think of China? Because you also went. You went twice, right?
Freaking love it.
Yeah, but you got food poison the first time.
I'm in a very Chinese phase of my life right now. Like, I really, really love it.
What an incredibly weird phase to suddenly go through the minute you meet a Chinese guy. I mean, she certainly is spreading those communist beliefs.
Do you think someday we'll have a revolution like that in America? Right? It's getting there, right?
We already have one.
Another one.
What's going on?
The wealth disparity is getting bad.
The wage gap, I hate that shit.
No, wealth disparity.
Wealth disparity.
Wage gap is like between men and women. Men and women, we love each other.
Facts.
And we hate the rich. Anyways.
We hate the rich. Spend $60,000 on 2 fucking purses. Buys an engagement ring for herself. Yes, we hate the rich. Okay, female Hassan. I know they're constantly called champagne socialists for good reason. How do people actually watch these people and believe them? Is the delusion that strong? I just don't fucking get it. Hassan's audience has the same problem, but at least he's got the accusation of botting on his side. I don't get it. Like, Hassan recently went to Cuba, and he was staying at like a 5-star hotel while the whole entire country of Cuba had a power outage, but his 5-star hotel was able to get AC and lights. And he's sitting there live streaming, being like, "Oh yes, I'm kind of disgusted with it, but the U.S. has specific hotels that we have to stay in." Turns out that apparently that hotel actually was not on the specific list for people to stay at if they're going to Cuba. Let's use the leftist language of privileged here. Obviously, as a vagina holder, I am privileged. I have female privilege, obviously. And I get a lot of benefits because of it. I'm trying to use my privilege to talk about men's issues and the things that men have to deal with and the problems with dating and various things like that, right? Kind of like the white knights on the left that want to talk about the poor oppressed browns. So you can be rich and talk about how the poor have problems and try to advocate for them. But I would hope that if you're rich, how you do that is also donating I say donating to charity, but frankly, I don't trust charities. I've seen so many charity scams throughout the years that I don't really believe any of them, right? But at least like the thought is there, right? Donating to charity, helping out your local community, something along those lines. If you actually truly care about the poor and the issues that they face in some way, shape, or form like that. So I'm not saying it's impossible for someone in her position to be able to do that. But when she's sitting there on this little riverside boat tour that she's doing and streaming, and she's talking about how much they hate the rich, you hate yourself, which I mean, as a self-hating woman, I guess I kind of get that aspect too, but it's not exactly the flex that you think it is when you're talking about hating the rich life and buying $60,000 purses, well, two $30,000 ones, spending $60,000 on purses essentially. Yeah, not exactly how you hate the rich there.
Too much.
Aren't you the rich?
No! Like the ultra rich, the ultra giga rich.
What? Aren't you the rich? No, I'm talking about the ultra. This is literally fucking Bernie Sanders here when he was like super popular in 2016 before he got ousted by the DNC. And he's just like, yeah, the millionaires and the billionaires. We have to go after the millionaires and the billionaires here. And then after his successful campaign in 2016, even though he got ousted by the DNC, he's like, oh, we have to go after the billionaires. We have to go after the billionaires. Mir seriously drops the millionaires type style from his campaign. Oh, the audacity on this bitch. The audacity.
Clarify. They're gonna clip that and it's gonna make you look bad.
Oh,
You
the
gotta say
ultra-giga
the billionaires.
the billionaires.
Because you are rich.
The Bezos.
Oh,
I don't know
the
what it is with these
Bezos.
people who are walking around with like a minimum of 8 figures in their pocket who feel the need to pretend that they're poor. More recently, Ludwig's girlfriend, Cutie Cinderella, and the biggest YouTuber, Mr. Beast, who I'm now fully convinced is AI, were LARPing as broke.
You said you keep less than $1 million for yourself despite being a paper billionaire. Why do you choose to operate that way?
It's funny talking about my personal finances because no one ever believes anything I say. So, I mean, they're like, you're a billionaire. I'm like, that's net worth. I have negative money right now. I'm borrowing money. That's how little money I have. Technically, everyone watching this video has more money than me in their bank account.
I mean, you are a millionaire.
I love that you think that.
You're not a millionaire.
No.
Savings, brokerage, all investments, all assets, you're not a millionaire.
No. I spend too much.
Oh, shut up. Even if you're not lying about your income, your long-term boyfriend Ludwig is insanely rich. He's so rich that he can lose millions of dollars on a failed business and brag about it.
Didn't your company get shut down and you lost like how much?
I lost more millions than you'll ever make.
Shit. Broke boy Hassan, another prominent Eat the Rich fanatic, was just caught in Cuba wearing like $5,000
Oh.
of clothes. And
Yeah,
if that doesn't
That's what I was talking about earlier. Yeah. TBYS and I are on the same wavelength there. There is sort of, kind of, an argument when it comes to the paper money here, as most millionaires and billionaires don't actually have the hard cash in their bank account. A lot of it is assets and houses, cars, or stock investments, hedge funds, different things like that, where, of course, if they sold them, they can get the hard cash. But it's not actually specifically in their bank account willing to be spent right there, right now type of deal. In the case of that one girl who was dating Ludwig, I don't know who she is. You can tell she's driving a very nice car. You can tell she's got really nice clothes on. Whoever her friend was clearly calling her out. Clearly have at least a decent amount of cash within your bank account. You probably are actually a millionaire and you're just lying because you're aware it makes you look bad on stream.
convince you that these people are all insanely rich, then look no further than their retarded luxury beliefs.
I traveled a lot to Paris, and I noticed it's because I just get along so well with the people there. In Paris, there are a lot of Middle Eastern, North African, and Arab people. My people.
Yeah, I just love all the Nigerian migrant scammers that have swarmed Paris with illegal markets. Gee, it must be awesome as a rich person who can...
I thought she was Asian. Like, I know he called her African American in the beginning of the video, but that was a joke. I thought she's just some sort of Asian. Or is that like part of the whole makeup thing that she does to make herself look Asian for the Sims once again? I mean, come on, when she does all this stupid fucking shit and you still give her money, you're a simp. I'm sorry, but it's just the truth.
afford to live outside of poor, crime-ridden communities, to talk about how great mass third-world immigration is. I mean, Morocco is so great that Pokimane's parents fled to Canada when she was young so she wouldn't have to grow up there. As for the boyfriend stuff, I don't know. I just feel like if I'm doing couple shopping videos and my girlfriend is too embarrassed to say that she's in a relationship with me, despite showing me publicly numerous times, then I would be pretty pissed about that. So, hey, Iman, if this TikTok you made is talking about a real relationship where some guy didn't propose to you after 2 years, then the way you treat men might be the reason why a guy that you want won't marry you. And also, vague posting about your past relationships like this to publicly shame your ex is really just a trashy move. Even if nobody in public knows who you're talking about, everyone who knows you personally will. So I think her not being married, despite her saying that she wants to be, might have a lot more to do with that than it just never being the right time because of her career. Again, welcome to 30.
I feel like 10, 15 years ago, if you were a girl gaming online, people were actually so nice to you. Like, so nice. They treated you so well. They would, like, gift you free stuff, all this stuff. Do you guys remember? Sometimes I think about these days and I'm like, I'm not hallucinating that, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's because back then, women on the internet being interested in gaming and various things were very rare. Usually they were somewhat authentic, though obviously there's some bad apples there. Now, after one realized, like her, that she can get easy money by being a woman on the internet and playing video games, which is a male interest, and men like Pretty Woman, and so therefore you got video games and Pretty Woman in one package. There's a reason why all those little game conventions that used to exist back in the day. Like I think was it called G4 or something like that. And I got shut down a lot of time. But there's like the little hot babes that they would have at these gaming conventions. That they would help promote video games. And then Anise Sarkeesian came in and be like, ah, that's sexist. Oh, we can't have that attractive woman in video games. Spoof babes, yes, spoof babes. And also E3. There's another one called G something that got shut down a few years ago officially. G4 was the show? Ah. Okay, now there we go. Hot women in video games. What more can a guy ask for, okay? Come on there. And women found that's easy money. And that's literally the majority of the female streamers out there. Like, you just find a random woman playing video games online. There's actually so many of them, it's completely oversaturated.
That happens when you base your career on your looks and you start getting older. People pay less attention to you and give you less money to be their parasocial girlfriend. Though, I will say, just to be fair, just as much as there is girl cope for missing milestones or for acting like a loser, there's also guy cope for it.
I've seen a few videos talking about the chosen ones are unemployed right now because our level of consciousness simply won't allow us to choose a job that is not something that we actually prefer. We're only going to choose something that we actually prefer to do. And I would agree with this because I haven't had a job in about 3 years.
Right, this is exactly what someone who is unhireable would say. Good, the comments are roasting him. My faith in humanity has been slightly restored. Unemployed people who are chosen for success don't make retarded Instagram videos. They work on themselves for 8 to 12 hours a day for free until someone is willing to pay them for what they do. But if you are behind, or you're in like your late 20s and not much has happened, understand that most people kind of slack off after they get what they want. So if you feel behind, note that you can catch up, and the way that you do that is by simply Googling and researching faster ways to do what you want to do, so you can make up for the time that you wasted by being able to do things like 5 times faster than most people. Then you can take what you've already learned from old skills and apply it to new ones.
It is important.
2 things. One, it's another reason why I like Think Before You Sleep. He always has in his videos some life advice on how to improve it. It's always been the case throughout all the years that I've watched him. The second thing is, not to defend that chosen one guy. I feel like I've been running defense a little bit recently, and I don't mean to run defense. I'm just trying to give like an alternate perspective here. But the job market is absolutely abysmal. I know 2 people personally that have been out of a job for over a year now. And it's not like they don't have the credentials. They both have degrees. In one case, one has been in the workforce for decades and has worked herself up to very high levels. But it's almost impossible to get a job. The other person, not as much credentials behind his back, but at the same time, been in the workforce before. He's done his best, right? And he just got laid off on his job because they shipped his stuff overseas and just struggling just to find a job in general and various things like that. There's, 2 different people from 2 different backgrounds and degrees, 1 man, 1 woman, both still struggling to find a job for like over a year. I can understand the struggles and plight of those that can't actually get a job in the more recent years, because it definitely has gotten pretty bad.
To draw wisdom from many different places. If we take it from only one place, it becomes rigid and stale. Understanding others, the other elements, and the other nations will help you become whole.
Like I said with the Forrest Gump stuff, there's a real value in being teachable, or in sports, they say people are coachable or not coachable. The best players are the ones who listen to the people who are better than them. You'll be way further ahead if you just stick to what traditionally works, and if you listen to people who have more life experience than you, instead of trying to find a 100% unique and creative answer to everything. There's a time and a place to be creative, and it's not all of the time. Typically, it's best to learn all the rules first before you try to create new ones. Anyway, thanks for watching, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you in the next video.
Not only can you listen to other people, older people, and their life experience too, but you can also learn from other people and their mistakes. I know it's like a very typical phrase, but it's very true. For example, and not like I'm exactly doing a good job at this, but I did my best. My sister is significantly older than me. She is literally a spinster and a cat lady, and I love her dearly. She's basically my mother figure. She's done very positive things in my life, and I'm very grateful for her. But she's also a TERF.